Let's begin.
Hey there, Pasta fans. Last week, I know I mentioned that today's story would revolve around SCP. However, due to recent circumstances, that story has been postponed until mid-April. You'll want to make sure to check back for that one. The last time we spoke of Mr. Bear, I promised I would deliver to you any further findings that I may come into contact with. So, without further ado, I'm responsible.
Alright. I know a lot of you have been waiting to hear a bit more on the happenings of Mr. Bear. For those of you who are not already aware, my name is Sabian Lockhart. I find myself sitting here writing this and wishing I had something different to report. Wishing I still had nothing to write at all, but unfortunately, that is not the case. This started back when I began my YouTube channel, back when the channel name was simply Sabian Lockhart. After listening to and becoming intrigued with the story of 1999, I decided that I would investigate its background for myself. I don't ever think I rationalized that it would be a smart idea. I believed at the time I decided it to be harmless. A story is just a story, right? Well, I soon found out that I was wrong. After a series of odd events, I circumstantially concluded that someone, claiming to be Mr. Bear, may in fact have recognized my prodding and subsequently targeted my family, namely my youngest daughter. Of course, I left well enough alone for the time being, and as predicted, everything seemed to pass over and fade away, as if I maybe let my subconscious mind trick me into fearing something non-existent. Of course, I released what I experienced and received a lot of great feedback. I want to sincerely thank all you guys for that, by the way. It was through that feedback that my interest had been renewed. I had established communication with various users interested in this mysterious topic, contacting me, offering their assistance. Said help came in forms of relinquishing personal experiences related to the supposed channel helmed by Mr. Bear, and helping me delve further into the research I had uncovered. Again, I want to just give these particular people a special thanks. I don't know if any of you are in the position that I'm in, but even if you aren't, you could have been, and your risks have been recognized by me. I said in a previous video that one of these users was not only able to get his hands on an encrypted message sent to him by someone claiming to be Mr. Bear, but he had also run an IP tracker on the man's email address, the same email address used by my fuzzy friend to send me messages. I realized something truly terrifying and earth-shattering at that time. I had stopped my active efforts to hunt down information on Mr. Bear, but he had apparently not given up on me. His IP address, likely run through several proxies, signified a town only mere miles from my house. Of course, all this activity would be difficult for one individual to accomplish, and I surmised that the infamous Mr. Bear had help, a conclusion that has yet to be denied. Things got weird here. The Caledon 21 YouTube channel nearly ceased all activity following the release of the Caledon Local 21 profile. The owner deleted the 5 low-quality booby episodes and replaced them with 2 episodes of Mr. Bear. One, a Halloween special in which Mr. Bear dressed up a doll, named Mrs. Pennywinkle, with makeup for Halloween before slicing it into pieces with a pair of scissors. This was titled to serve as a cryptic Mr. Bear Halloween special, advertised by a short promotional video for the episode about a week beforehand. Both have since been deleted from the channel as well. Of the many viewers acquainted with the channel, half expected to see a Mr. Bear Seller Christmas special as well. Some may say sadly, but I will now go as far as to say happily, we did not. God knows what kind of brutality we may have been exposed to as a result of isolation, supported by the icy, unrelenting grip of winter. Now, I've been telling everyone that I have had nothing to report for quite some time. This is only true to an extent. I have had some occasional contact with the man claiming to be Mr. Bear, but have been unable to unearth anything of more substantial interest worth reporting. This isn't to say that I've had nothing, only that what I did come into ownership of was of such minor significance that it wasn't worth divulging alone. It's funny, because back then, I was kinda hoping I'd have more to deliver, more treasures to show for my efforts. And at the time, the notion of being able to give you all more regarding this story seemed benign and harmless. I mean, it's just a story, right? A really good one, and who doesn't love a really good story? If I could go back and change anything, I don't know if it would matter, if I could make any difference whatsoever, but I know that if I could go back, I would at least try, at least have the foresight enough to take things a little more seriously. It was sometime in mid-November when I would next hear from our friend behind the innocent teddy bear mask. It was a simple email from Caledon21 that said, "Open now. 100 fuzzy hugs, Mr. Bear." Underneath, highlighted in blue, was a file attachment labeled "Do not open till spring.zip." This was all one word, all lowercase letters, and took me a couple of seconds to accurately discern. I noted two really odd things about this email. The first, and most obvious, was the paradoxical nature between the label of the attachment and the short message delivered alongside it. It was clear the compressed file attachment was named so as to schedule viewing of its contents, but the email specifically stated to "open now," which undoubtedly referred to the attached file. It really didn't matter what Mr. Bear had said. The email could have read "open and die" for all I cared, and I'm sure I would have opened it anyway. Humans are creatures of curiosity. It's in our nature to restore equilibrium to concepts our minds can't fully understand, to shed light on the unknown. I have actually recently learned that discovery is supported by the release of dopamine in the brain, actually conditioning us to desire to probe into the unknown by reinforcing the behavior with reward. Cruel is the nature of our behaviors. Even then, I had no clue what it was I was looking at. I first checked the file for viruses, and there were none. I then downloaded it and saved it before decompressing the folder and extracting its contents. Two files were contained within: a generic text document titled happy.txt and a picture file named charcoal.jpg. I have my folders set to small icons, so a thumbnail of the JPEG was unavailable, but in the grips of interest and an unstoppable thirst for truth, I double-clicked on charcoal.jpg and waited only a fraction of a second to be presented with a girl in a purple dress. The girl was young, long brown hair, and makeup highlighted her face. I took note of how young the girl seemed to be and how unnatural the makeup appeared on her. The color of the photograph seemed distorted, as if the contrast was out of whack. The picture had clearly been taken in the basement of someone's home, but besides all that, the picture was relatively normal. Sure, it had a distinct element of being a little unsettling, red curtains in the back, typical of something delivered by the supposed Mr. Bear, but beyond that, I didn't think much more of the photo. I closed out of my photo viewer and double-clicked on happy.txt, the single word labeled document. Microsoft Word took its sweet time as usual, loading up its logo before providing me with the single phrase presented now on the monitor in black and white. "Happy shall they be who take your little ones." I, of course, found this odd and a little disturbing. What was he trying to say? I remember thinking to myself, what if he was talking about my children? What if he meant he was planning on doing something despicable with my little girls? Selfish. Does it really matter whose children they are? Sure, I love my kids more than anyone else, but I should have had an expanded perspective on responsibility. But seriously, how could I have known? I would have delivered all of this sooner, but really, what point was there with that? Hey, I got this picture and a weird message, and that's it. It doesn't really make much of a story. And even for those who are thinking, Well, I wouldn't have minded a short update like that. You have to remember that the more people who hear this story, the more people will be aware of the dangers that may be waiting just on the other side of the front door on a cold, dark night. Short updates like that, some people would likely lose interest and thus defeat the purpose of uploading this story altogether. So, I waited. I waited the long winter months with everyone else, awaiting Mr. Bear to come back on the air and present us with more of his unsettling antics. Despite the occasional sparse message of, "I'm in hiding," no one really seemed to hear much. I published various side stories, some inspired by the experiences of others mere spin-offs, inspired by the original 1999. It wasn't until a few weeks ago that Caledon's channel had seen its first activity from its owner in months. Much like the earlier Booby episodes, the newest upload by Mr. Bear seemed relatively pointless. Not once did he speak one word. The film was a little over 2 minutes long and consisted of nothing more than a montage of a man in a bear costume, blood smeared in spatches on the white area that was his belly, walking about the snow and filming himself, thin stick-like trees lingering in the background. The upload had a one-word title, Hibernating. The description stated only something along the lines of how Mr. Bear would return soon, with new episodes of himself, Booby, and our friends from the cellar. I probably should have checked it immediately, but I didn't think of it at the time. It wasn't until later that evening that I would check my email. I don't usually get a lot of significant mail, so I don't check it more than a couple of times a day. Mr. Bear had a message waiting for me in my inbox. I assume that he sent it shortly after uploading Hibernating, and at the time, I was eager to see what was in store for me. The subject line was only 2 simple letters, reading P.S. My interest piqued, and I read the lines beneath, only a few simple words that still have me in the grips of fear. Not active yet. Hiding. Package returned. Will send again. No fuzzy hugs. No signature. Just short and sweet. A notable first for these interactions. Package returned? What package? How and why had it returned? Send again? What exactly is he trying to send, and does he mean he's sending it to me? I'm still awaiting answers to these questions, and I honestly hope I never get any. A paperclip icon sat beside the message in the inbox, highlighting an attachment with the message. It's spring.zip. No viruses, and saved to my computer. I opened it to find similar contents to the last folder. A text document, once again named happy.txt, and a picture file named charcoal(2.jpg). I clicked on happy.txt first this time, expecting only another quick quote. I was correct in my expectation. It was the same as before, only extended, finished, if you will. Happy shall they be who take your little ones and cast them into fire. I later found this out to be awfully close to a disturbing direct quote from the Holy Bible that speaks of righteously killing children. Slightly more hesitant, I returned to It's Spring and double-clicked Charcoal 2. A face. A charred or rotted face of a human, possibly a child. That's when all of this hit me. I was waiting. I sat around waiting for this. I'm honestly not sure, but I assume this rotted face is meant to represent the girl from the first charcoal.jpg, from the folder labeled Do Not Open Till Spring.zip. That fucking son of a bitch. While I idled silently, standing by and holding on to this picture of this little girl, he was doing God knows what to her this past winter, during his quote-unquote inactivity. I was so concerned about my kids, I never once thought about the children of others. Not enough to coerce my actions enough to show it. I'm not sure if this shit really adds up, if Charcoal and Charcoal 2 are at all related, and I really hope they aren't. Because if they are, I may be partially responsible for the death of a child, someone else's baby, just as important to them as mine are to me. I dread the delivery of any package. God knows what gruesome discovery my brain will tell me it's rewarding me for making. For now, I'm going to treat all of this as if it were just a story. Who knows? All of this is conjecture, and it may be just that. So, when I end the video with my signature laugh, please don't mistake my humor for disregard of possible tragedy. I honestly don't think I can handle this any other way. Until next time, everyone. Once again, please, stay safe. Keep a close eye on your children. Monsters exist, and are out there right now, waiting in the dark.
Okay, shit just got real, especially for basement-dwelling captives. Be sure to check back in next weekend for a campy tale in which we return to the Black Woods. Until then, keep a vigilant eye on that blurry line between reality and fiction.
Social media can be very unpredictable, especially regarding horror content. If this content gets removed, all new content will be simultaneously presented on various websites provided in the description to this video. Make sure to follow me in other digital spaces so that you never miss out on the terror. Also, if you like this video, make sure to leave a comment and hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what's here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. Writing is a dream of mine, and it's all of you that make that dream come true.